Hey guys, see, I couldn't stay away even if I wanted to. So obviously, I'm just gonna talk a little bit about my own personal development when it came to leadership. Um, Obviously, everybody has a different story. We all kind of go through some good times and some bad times. I think we can all relate that when we had one of these, things were tough. We had to learn different things. We had to learn, depending on what time you guys came. Sometimes we had 2 days to learn it in. Sometimes we had 2 weeks to learn it in. Luckily, nowadays, one of the things that we changed, which is part of the leadership, is that it ain't no more 2 days or 2 weeks. Now it's the 3 month probationary period. And sometimes our team members kind of take a little bit longer than that. But obviously, we've all been here and we understand that. And the good thing about a green hat is you kind of learn from those experiences and you kind of start thinking about what if I had the opportunity to change something, what would it be? Even though at first you might feel like you have no power or you have no say so on that, eventually as you kind of roll up in the company and you start learning different things and you start going into leadership, all that stuff stays with you. And then you can finally, when you get to that point where you can go from one of these to one of these, then that's when you can start kind of having a bigger voice, because obviously everybody has a voice and everybody can talk, and because that's what we want people to talk to us and tell us what we can do to make their jobs easier, to make their jobs more happier and stuff like that. But when you have start having one of these, now you're on top of the world. Now you finally know what it is. You're no longer a green hat. So people actually take you seriously. But even though we always do, but it tends to kind of open up your eyes a little bit more, because now you know what it feels like having to go through that green hat phase. So you want to make sure you don't do it. Obviously, when you go from a white hat and you start looking at leadership, the first thing and an easy mistake to do is to assume everything's going to be easy, right? When in reality, it isn't. Obviously, we've all seen the pictures where we feel leadership's here, we start here, and then the finish line is here, and it's an up way kind of thing. But in reality, it's all like this, up and down, and that's reality. That's how leadership is. Obviously, we're gonna have ups and downs. Sometimes, I mean, obviously, some of you already heard the stories about David back when he used to have his meltdowns and stuff like that, because that does happen. Sometimes being in a leadership position can be overwhelming, especially when things aren't going the way you would want them to be. But that's also part of the process. That's also part of you being able to kind of improve yourself, kind of go get out of those moments where you feel that everything's falling apart, and being able to learn from those to make sure you don't repeat the same mistakes, and kind of figure out what it is that you can do to make things better, because ultimately that's what we want. Because the important thing is the most important thing is for team members to know that they can trust in their leadership, that when things get tough, their leaderships will know what needs to be done in order for things to be taken care of. If situations come up, your team has to be able to feel that they can come to you and say, "Hey, I got this issue," and then you can help them with their issue. And even if you don't have the solution there, work with them in order for them to come up with the solution to fix it. Kind of like what's been going on here lately. Obviously, one of the biggest mistakes that we have when we have one of these is we think we can all do it ourselves and we'll be all right, we'll figure it out. But in reality, we tend to forget that it's not just about us. It's about everybody else. It's about everybody who's there to help you out, and everybody who else trying to help. Even the people who don't really want to do much, they usually do have some very good advice, because they know it all. They just can't have that ability to kind of share that kind of stuff. And when you start learning more of that, and when you start getting more committed on the leadership part, when you start believing in the leadership and what it is that we're trying to do and the vision that we have, then it's easy for you to say, yes, you know what, I want to commit to this because I trust the vision, I understand it, I really want to be part of that. And that's what we're hoping that you guys hear with this development training. And obviously, even at that, just taking that first step and saying, yes, I'm ready for it, then you can do it, because obviously it's not easy. Definitely, it's not easy. It's always going to be challenging. And even when you go from one of these to one of these, even more responsibility, and um, even more the team members are going to need you, because now they know that they can depend on you. At least that's the way they want to know. That's what they want to feel. They want to know that you're there for them, and obviously we are there for them, because without them, we're nothing. And that's one of the biggest things that has changed even more nowadays. Is remember the old school days when they just do it because I told you to do it. If you don't want to do it, burn the road up. Yeah, Todd knows about that one, not you. But stuff like that. And nowadays, it's not as simple as that, because obviously, you know, people are different. One of the biggest things that we're recognized for is the diversity out there in the plant, and just being able to get all those people to work together in a very good way. Even though sometimes it's a little hard, but being able to do that is just an accomplishment in itself. So obviously, our responsibility as leaders is to be able to provide them what they need in order for them to be successful. And one of the biggest things about the blue bump cap, even though this is just a color, it's just more of the meaning behind it. It's knowing that you're not in leadership for yourself. You're doing it because you want to provide for them. You want to be the leadership, the guidance that they need in order for us to be successful, in order for them to be successful. And that's one of the biggest things about this leadership class. And I'm hoping all of you enjoy and learn as well and develop, because obviously we're going to be there to helping you guys out. But the idea of, in order for us to continue to be even better as we kind of go through all these years where we've already grown up, in order for us to be ready to make the even more progress, then we need to make sure that we have everybody looking through the same eyes, looking through the same, thinking the same mindset, the same thoughts, and being able to give that to our team members. So that way everybody can, you know, end up enjoying the work that we do. Because whether you're a team member in the line or whether you're a leader in the management group, you still want to be as happy as you can enjoying what it is you do. And, there is a lot of enjoyment being a leader. But at the same time, there's a lot of responsibility, and there's always going to be a lot of challenges that go with it. But ultimately, if this is what you really want to do, it's going to be great. And I'm looking forward to being able to help you guys develop and see where you guys get to. So I'll see you guys on Monday.